shit, this fucking timeline is lit. All over, it's over. World's biggest Alex Joner. Holy fucking cow, this fucking timeline is all over, it's over. World's biggest.
Ladies and gentlemen, not the most seamless transition from the auto, but we're working on it and we're getting better every day. That is what we do around here. I am your host, Mihai Shogor, and welcome to another Thursday edition of the Ciderhaus. Ciderhaus rules, a 1985 novel by American writer John Irving. The title refers to a list of rules that the worker is supposed to follow. However, none of them can read, thus remain unaware of the rules. That is a very fine cider that my co-host over there is not drinking. Is that not right, Mr.
I should get this cider open and start drinking it. What's going on, chat? What's going on? My name is John Ward. I have not showered for 2 days. I'm wearing the same clothes as the last show.
Funny enough, I'm actually wearing the same clothes too.
That's that. Well, in my case, it's just coincidence. This is my uniform for Thursdays now, so I'm going to leave it here. What's going on, chat? We'll pull up the chat here in a minute. You should have up to 5 emojis or 10 maybe fly across the screen, as you see now. And members will be highlighted. All super chats will be read as long as Mihai remembered to click the auto highlight button. And are we doing some kind of shame challenge today? And is it me again, probably?
I did not set one up, but if we want to, I can.
Wait, maybe just verbally say it. What's going on? Well, I'll let you introduce everybody, and then we'll say what's up to the chat.
Yeah, we'll say hi to Mr. Jack Kettner again. How we doing?
Yep, my name is Jack, and I am not wearing the same clothes as the last show.
Jack, when are you coming back, man?
February 14th.
All
it should be Valentine's.
The story hasn't changed. That's what I like to hear.
It's your Valentine.
All right. We noticed your Christmas tree was gone on Tuesday, and it's still gone. I'm surprised you didn't put it back up in preparation for Christmas 2025 yet.
Yeah. Well, you know me. I'm always planning ahead.
There you go. What are we talking about today, Jack?
We're talking tariffs. We're talking Gaza. We're talking bonus topics, which is a number.
That's the old one, man.
That is the old one. That is on me. Hold on.
He can fix that quick.
Mm-hmm.
Tariffs, and some other stuff. This is Mihai being an authentic content creator by showing you small mistakes. You know he's real and not a hologram like your good buddy John Ward.
Yeah, we're going to get started with the Gaza Takeover. If you guys want to start.
That's kind of a crazy one, and I'm very curious to see what the chat has. There you go. Very nice. We're tariffing. The Gaza one, I don't know how you feel about it, Jack, and we'll talk ourselves here in a minute after we get to the chat. But, you know, Trump saying that the United States owns Gaza. I know there's a lot of people out there with somewhat concern that Trump is something of a Zionist, maybe. So whenever you want, pull that chat up.
Mm-hmm. I got it right here.
What's going on, chat? You should be able to chat from YouTube or also X. And reminder that Ciderhaus, Ciderhaus, has its own channel now. We're trying to get to 500 subscribers so we can give you sweet-ass memberships and perks. So please consider going and subscribing to Ciderhaus show on YouTube. Same show streaming there as it is here right now. What do we think, chat? What do we think?
Thank you. Sorry, go ahead.
What did somebody chat, Jack, that I missed?
Yeah, I was just going to say thank you, Oli Grants, for the compliment.
I just saw that. Jack looks like part of Doge. You're one of those fucking 20-year-old autistic people just fucking shit up. But that's
I actually have a link to that, which we'll get on.
We'll definitely
later.
talk about it here. Sir Don't Trip at the top, flip tables and whip money changers. JW, not me, a different JW, Evening World Champions, Lord of the Ree, those greens, our channel members. Zeb Boykin, what's going on with the white 6-month badge? David Oler King, Marie LaRue, welcome back. Ballistic Ben, Christopher Withers, Only Grant's hilarious. He's from Australia too, Jack.
Okay.
There you go.
Sweet.
Fun part about the internet. Chronic, what's going on? Good to see you. Vakenhard 4, good to see you again. Teufel Hund. I don't know if I've seen Teufel Hund before. Z Kyle, Michelle, Chris Edward, Michelle. I don't care what happens to Gaza as long as our tax money isn't spent there. That's probably a good way to set the tone.
Yeah.
Should we go straight into that one? That we're going to go Gaza Takeover?
I mean,
first?
I think we can continuously come back to all the tariff stuff going on, and so why not? Why not start with a little Gaza?
I hear you.
Am I leading this discussion?
Well, if you want to, I'm pulling up the link right now.
So if you don't know, Trump had Bibi, a.k.a. there he is, Netanyahu, the Russian Jew who runs Israel. Weird. Star of Remfun behind them. Bizarre. Anyway.
All the callbacks at once.
20 million views. Trump, is this the actual video where he says it?
Yeah, this is the video of Trump.
Let's just play it.
The U.S. will take over the Gaza Strip, and we will do a job with it, too. We'll own it and be responsible for dismantling all of the dangerous unexploded bombs and other weapons on the site, level the site and get rid of the destroyed buildings, level it out, create an economic development that will supply unlimited numbers of jobs and housing for the people of the area. Do a real job, do something different. Just can't go back. If you go back, it's going to end up the same way it has for 100 years. The U.S. will take.
And then I also have a video of BB, like purely BB.
The reaction?
Yeah.
I was literally about to say, can you pull up his reaction?
Yeah.
It is interesting. It's interesting. I'm trying to keep an eye on the chat if anybody has thoughts as well. But Netanyahu's reaction during this speech was interesting, and there's some key points I'll draw focus to, mainly when Trump says we'll own it.
We'll take over the Gaza Strip, and we will do a job with it, too. We'll own it and be responsible for dismantling all of the dangerous unexploded bombs and other weapons on the site, level the site and get rid of the destroyed buildings, level it out, create an economic development that will supply unlimited numbers of jobs and housing for the people of the area. Do a real job, do something different. Just can't go back. If you go back, it's going to end up the same way it has for 100 years. I'm hopeful that this ceasefire could be the beginning of a larger and more enduring peace that will end the bloodshed and killing once and for all. With the same goal in mind, my administration has been moving quickly to restore trust in the alliance and rebuild American strength throughout the region. And we've really done that. We're a respected nation.
I don't know if you're able to pull up Benjamin Netanyahu on Twitter, or I'm sorry, Wikipedia or something like that. Somewhere where it will say his real name is what I'm getting at. That's always an interesting part of these kinds of people. But he definitely sort of did a bit of a double take. It will own it. Go to early life.
Early life, yeah.
Are they covering this? Oh, there we go. Milikowski, I believe, is his name. Something like that.
Ooh. Yeah, Milikowski right here.
Oh, there you go. And his father, Warsaw-born Ben Zion Netanyahu Nee Milikowski. Okay, maybe I have this backwards. Anyway. Oh, that's a nice picture. 1967. Looks like a mugshot.
That's what I thought it was, yeah.
Maybe it is. Anyway, yeah, so there's, I guess, two questions at hand here. Is Trump really handed the keys of the kingdom to Israel? Is he a Zionist president, as some people are concerned? Or was that sort of a power move spontaneously? I don't know. I did see that it seemed like Israel was pretty happy with the way their whole visit went.
Yeah, I don't know, but is that necessary? Like, I don't understand the part of that that's pro-Israel, because the pro-Israel stance would be that they want that for themselves.
Basically that, like some people would say, as we've always done, we're going to be doing all the dirty work to clear out beachfront property and then hand it to Israel. American soldiers will be killed doing this.
Well, have you seen the development plan?
I have not seen the actual plan. Is it true that Kushner is running it?
I'm not sure which company drew up these plans, but
oh shit. Buc-ee's.
yeah. Have you ever been to a Buc-ee's?
Yeah, I've been to the Buc-ee's.
Oh, like the first one in Texas or whatever?
That giant one between San Antonio and Houston.
Huh.
You know what I'm talking
They're
about?
all giant, but I don't know.
No, pull up Buc-ee's. Oh, geez, what was that highway? Is it 10? I think it's Highway 10. Buc-ee's, Highway 10, Texas or something like that. So it's about a 4-hour drive from Houston to San Antonio, and there is absolutely nothing in between. And about halfway, gosh, I can't remember the name of the exit. That looks probably like it. Look at that stupid thing. Holy shit. Yeah, it's like 4 Walmarts. Has a whole side of it for fueling trucks and a whole other side of it for fueling cars. You go in there, there's like a homemade beef jerky with like 5,000 kinds of jerky, and then next to that is like a clothing store of Buc-ee's clothes.
And they're cutting up like the pulled pork right in front of you.
Yeah.
And like everyone's yelling and screaming.
Oh, it's a madhouse.
There was an actual Buc-ee's mascot walking around the store.
Yeah.
There, and he's like, every like 10 minutes, he'd like get into a break dance, and all the workers like, let's go, Buc-ee.
There's
Let's
like
go, Buc-ee."
400 gas pumps, and each gas pump has like 7 cars waiting at it.
Yeah.
It's fucking nuts.
It's just the embodiment of what is America, though.
Oh, never been
And
to
that's
a
where we're
Buc-ee's.
in Gaza.
Yeah, it's pretty fucking amazing.
There's a sign in like
Bunch of
Harrisburg,
Buc-ee's.
like a billboard in Harrisburg. It's like, I forget.
Oh, Katy, Texas. That's right. By Katy, I think. So outside of Houston.
There's a highway sign, like a sign on the highway in Harrisburg. It's like 320 miles until Buc-ee.
Yeah, that
There.
kind of shit.
Yeah.
Maybe Sheets will get on board. I don't know. But yeah, I don't know. So why is it not, what's wrong with Trump doing that? It's not that the United States will control it. It's just that we'll do all the work and spend all the money to do all the work, and then they'll just get to have it.
Yeah,
Which
the
is
perception seems to be of people very critical of Israel is that if you're not if you're not completely out of the Middle East, then you're a Zionist shill. But I don't know. I feel as though it's a bit more nuanced than that, because like whether you like the fact that Israel is our ally or not, they're still our allies. And if we don't fulfill our obligations with them to a degree, then that will negatively affect us geopolitically, because what does that say to any other potential allies?
Well, I kind of need you to explain to me how we're obligated to take over Gaza for Israel. To me, that's the equivalent of saying, hey, Israel, we need you to come conquer Juarez for us.
Yeah. Well, it's not necessarily taking over Gaza, more so making sure that Hamas doesn't take it over.
Well, why
And
can't
that's,
Israel
that's
do
what
that?
Trump is saying.
Is my question. Why can't Israel do that?
Yeah, that's a good question. Why can't Israel do it? And this is just me. The thing about Trump is that he's been more successful with the Middle East, in the Middle East compared to other presidents, because he's actually taken a more direct role overseeing.
I mean, my understanding is that, yes, that is true. There's the famous
Jerusalem
clip of Trump, with the sword dance with the Saudis.
Oh, yeah.
That apparently signifies the end of some great conflict, and so they celebrated with this sword dance. But yeah, I think the Arab world seems to like Trump quite a lot.
I have this interesting tweet.
I know Israel is in the Middle East, but I don't consider it part of that sphere of influence. They're diametrically opposed to each other. Anyway, what was the interesting tweet?
So it's from the most interesting person I think imaginable to give their perspective on this whole topic.
Mia Khalifa?
No, do you remember Robert Griffin III?
Did you say Mia Khalifa?
She gave her thoughts on the conflict before, and she got fired.
She did.
That's funny.
Stroke of genius.
She's
said,
honestly probably more.
every other slut out there is getting pounded on camera. What I'm going to do is put on a hijab and get pounded on camera. And she made like $7 million from that.
Yeah, and have all of ISIS wanting to kill her.
Well, now they're not very happy about it, I guess. But what are you going to do? It's ISIS.
No, but here, Robert Griffin III, he summed this up.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Yeah. Donald Trump isn't wasting any time taking big swings at disrupting the status quo. The Riviera, the Middle East, Mara Gaza, whether anyone likes it or not, he's doing what he said he would. The world won't look the same, and politics won't be run the same way after Trump.
So it's a Gulf of America sort of thing.
I just find it, yeah. I don't know how to feel about it yet. I feel like if we can do this without putting in troops, I'd be much more comfortable. But the idea of us being able to clear out Gaza without troops, I don't even understand. Trump said we're not going to use troops, but logistically, how is that even possible? I don't.
So I've learned anyway, I'll speak for myself from having done this about 10 years, is with Trump especially, there's a difference between what he says and what he does. And this I think holds true for any person if you're trying to judge them and get a good read on them. The words are ultimately meaningless, but that's doubly true in politics. The actions are the things you can't hide. There's the saying, people vote with their feet, meaning why so many immigrants are trying to come to the United States. If you're a selfish person, you act in your own self-interest. You don't necessarily speak as though you're acting in your own self-interest, but you do take actions in your own self-interest. I mean, Israel and many other countries are the king of this as well. They'll say one thing and do another. That's politics. So we have to, I think, kind of wait and see what actually happens. I'm certainly hopeful that we're not continuing this goofy process of sending all our tax money to other countries, and Israel being one of many that we do that with.
But do you not find there being truth in what Trump said, whereas we've done this the same way every time there's been a conflict? We come to a ceasefire, and then years later, the same exact thing happens. The idea is now that if we take over the space, we can prevent this.
Well, so that's what to kind of throw a wrench into the Trump's Zionist people. I certainly seem like there's plenty of possibility that this could go in a positive non-Zionist direction. However, I would agree with you that on the surface, it's not really what you want to hear him say. You want to hear America first type stuff, especially if you have a kid in the military or you're in the military. Like, holy shit, back to the Middle East, American soldier for another war. You guys know how that's been going your whole lifetime.
Yeah,
Kahina Kabiche says more art of the deal. I mean, maybe.
I would say there's more art of the deal at present in his handling of other countries by using tariffs, but we'll get onto that later.
Ballistic Ben says, if you haven't figured it out yet, Trump lays out a worst case and allows other players to then offer their position. It sets him up to control the play. And yeah, based on Bibi's reaction, I feel like whether or not it was what he wanted to hear, Trump said some shit there to the public that Bibi wasn't quite ready for, he wasn't expecting. Certainly has signs of something going on. And Trump very much is known to love to do that sort of thing when he gets in public live conversations with people like Chuck Schumer, or Zelensky is a good one. Holy shit, do you remember when it's Zelensky? He's like, man, you guys got a problem. You really need to figure this out. Zelensky's like, we could really use some more money. And Trump's like, well, you're not getting any. It's just like fucking on live television.
Trump said that he's aiming to end that conflict between Ukraine and Russia at around April. I'm curious to see how he's going to do that.
If you don't know, do you guys know the whole big picture of this Zionist conspiracy? The conspiracy includes that Ukraine is intended to be the new Israel. And there is some truth to the fact that the Ukraine is the geographical homeland of the Khazarians. Ashkenazis.
Is that like a European Jew?
So the Ashkenazi Jews are not Semitic. I actually look quite a bit like an Ashkenazi Jew in some ways. Like, that's where you get the blue eye, the red hair, that sort of thing. So the real conspiracy is that there's this ethnic group of Jews called the Ashkenazi Jews. And those are the ones that are globalist. Whereas like the Orthodox, extremely, the ones who won't fight in wars in Israel and shit. And yeah, they're like they're Arab usually, genetically. They're Semitic. But the Ashkenazi Jews are genetically European.
Interesting.
And so just giving you the facts of the Zionist conspiracy theory, not speaking to how much of it I believe or not, just saying it is that, the whole Ukraine, Zelensky is a Jew. He's an actor. He was hired to play a role. Some people think Putin is an Ashkenazi Jew. This is all just a fake war to depopulate Europeans, to allow Ashkenazi Jews to come in, buy up all the property, and restart the ancestral homeland of the Ashkenazi Jews in Ukraine. Why would they do that and not just use Israel? Maybe they'll keep using Israel. Israel is a very problematic place. Everyone around them hates them. Ukraine has the same benefit as Israel geographically. It's central to world trade. It is right smack dab in the middle of everything going between China and the United States. So it is objectively true that both Ukraine and Israel are highly valuable geographic locations in terms of international trade. Right, and Israel would very much like to have Gaza, so they go right up to the water. And I mean, this place has been geographically relevant since the Romans, since Alexander the Great. There's been Tyre, Tyre. There's been those, predating even the Greek civilization was the civilization on Crete, the Minoans, which is this island kind of right between Greece and current modern day Israel or Gaza. And so that's the thought to look out for is, are they erasing natural Ukrainians and replacing them with Ashkenazi Jews? Where does Israel fit into that? We do know Israel was formed with the words, "Dear Lord Rothschild." You know that whole story?
No, I do not.
So the land in Palestine was the Balfour Declaration. You want to pull that up? Balfour, I want to say. So the British used to control the entire Middle East, Palestine. British Palestine, I believe is what they called it. The Balfour Declaration was a public statement issued by the British government in 1917 during the First World War, announcing its support for the establishment of a, quote, national home for the Jewish people. And if you look at the actual declaration there, the image on the right, Foreign Office, November 2nd. Wow. Yeah. Dear Lord Rothschild, I have much pleasure in conveying to you, on behalf of His Majesty's government, the following declaration of sympathy with Jewish Zionist aspirations, which has been submitted to and approved by the Cabinet. His Majesty's government view with favor the establishment in Palestine of a national home for the Jewish people, and will use their best endeavors to facilitate the achievement of this object, it being clearly understood that nothing shall be done which may prejudice the civil and religious rights of existing non-Jewish communities in Palestine, or the rights and political status enjoyed by Jews in any other country. I should be grateful if you would bring this declaration to the knowledge of the Zionist Federation, signed Lord Balfour. But again, not dear king or queen, whatever. Mm-hmm. Dear Lord Rothschild.
That is fascinating.
And so there is the famous saying that Israel began with the words, "Dear Lord Rothschild." That's referencing the Balfour Declaration. Yeah, so it kind of suddenly, wait a minute, there's more to this than maybe I initially thought. And it certainly tracks with some quote-unquote conspiracy theories that maybe we know aren't so conspiratorial anymore. We know the Rothschilds were part of one of the biggest wealth transfers in history when Napoleon lost at Waterloo, blah, 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 blah.
Are the Rothschilds Jewish? That might be a stupid question.
Yes, massively. They are incredibly, massively Jewish.
Yeah, that was my guess. But so, but doesn't that make sense that they would then write to the most powerful man in the world who lives in the country that they're trying to get the land from?
That would certainly be a solid counter argument.
Like if we, I don't know, if the South Africans were trying to get, the white South Africans needed to get land somewhere, wouldn't they try and write to Elon Musk and ask him to help them out?
No, I don't. I think they'd write to Trump first.
Yeah, but it's in the same way that the Rothschilds.
This is not a tweet.
Yeah, I know.
This was an official letter.
I know, but the Rothschilds funded whoever was in charge of England at the time, you could assume. And you could say the same thing about Elon Musk and Trump. So would they not then also reach out to Elon?
Oh, so are you in a sense implying that Elon is the new Rothschilds?
I mean, you could say that.
I don't necessarily disagree.
Mm-hmm.
I think to make all of this make sense, either number one, these changes are all fake and we're still in this Zionist, occupied government, as people like to say, Zog, or this is a genuine coup and these 50 or so year old technocrats like Peter Thiel and Elon Musk really have taken power. Is that possible? Yeah, I mean, seems like what's going on to a fair degree. I am so suspicious of everything these days, but
yeah, I mean that would be the technocratic oligarchy that people often refer to, right?
Yeah, times change, technology changes. The Rothschilds are a banking family, not a tech family, and what, just like how J. Edgar Hoover once collected a bunch of dirt on unsuspecting politicians. Well, the internet comes about. You start routing all government and private communication through the internet. Who these nerds run. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. They probably saw it. They probably fucking saw a lot of the shit that they didn't think people could see. And I mean, you say that's impossible. How stupid do you got to be just be like someone like the Rothschilds and just sign up for AOL online and then they lose all your communications? John Podesta had his fucking password hacked, which was password, I think.
Was it really?
Yeah, I think it was his password was password. Just some hacker, I think, was just like, "Hey, John, can't get in. What's your password?" He's like, "Oh, it's password." And that's how that all started. So yeah, the point of failure in any secure system is hardly ever the technology itself, or if it's, before technology, before electricity, giant castle walls and shit like that. What you can't ever control, though, is that you got to put fucking human beings in those positions to gatekeep. Mm-hmm. And human beings are retarded and super easily corrupted. Jeffrey Epstein honeypot with children, but before that, just a hot woman of age. Mm-hmm. That was enough to take somebody down. Hey, you cheated on your wife. And it's just so the flesh is weak or whatever, I guess, right? Password 69.
That is funny. And was John Podesta tied to Anthony Weiner and all that?
Probably. Well, he definitely was in the sense that Anthony Weiner was married to Huma Abedin, and Abedin was working for Hillary Clinton, and John Podesta was working for Hillary Clinton.
And you know who Huma Abedin's married to now?
Alex Soros.
Yeah. Isn't that funny how that all works out?
Makes me wonder who is Huma Abedin.
For the longest time, I thought Alex Soros was gay until he went public with his marriage.
I still think he's gay, even after he did that.
Yeah, it could just be a show. When you're at that level, do you really fall in love and marry for love?
I'm fairly certain Huma Abedin is a lesbian and was probably fucking Hillary. That's how she got in with Hillary. I'm not kidding.
No, I hear you. I'm with you on that. On that same level, I also agree that Hillary Clinton's a dyke.
Yeah, there's Huma Abedin and Alex Soros are not having heterosexual sex at night in their marital bed. I doubt they're even in the same fucking place that much. Yeah, Lord of the Rings. John Travolta married a woman too.
On the opposite side of the coin, then going more towards, I feel like, John's position, I have Dave Smith's tweet here. Trump has done a lot of good things in the last few weeks, but it's hard to overstate how awful the Gaza idea is. Committing an ethnic cleansing on behalf of Israel, who wanted exactly that way before October 7th. Taking ownership of the region is about as awful an idea as any president has ever had. I hope he reconsiders.
Yeah. Do you guys agree with this? Do you agree that's ethnic cleansing?
It just still it's hard
Gaza,
to say. What does the actual carry out of this look like? Like, I can't answer.
Uncle Sam, now do the Harvara agreement. All right, you can pull that up. Maybe we shouldn't.
Yeah,
But what? So I think that's a legitimate fear to express. What was it, David Smith?
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying, I think nothing has happened yet. No actions have been taken, and I am just going to wait to see what actually happens. Which, in my experience, is very often not what was said was going to happen. So
no, but I agree with you. I do think that at the end of the day, I think this is just the big ask from the art of the deal. Like, I don't think this actually materializes. I think it's a negotiating tactic.
what do you think, Jack?
I mean, in the same way that we shouldn't hastily enter a conflict because that has dire ramifications, we shouldn't also just hastily leave a conflict we find ourselves in, because it could hastily lead to us getting shit on geopolitically. It's the same reason why leaving Afghanistan was a good idea, but Biden's implementation of it was very poor. Like, he didn't do Trump's plan of pulling out. Like, he tried to move it closer to September 11th because he tried to like improve the optics of it. That was stupid, and that led to a bunch of our equipment getting left behind, a bunch of our soldiers getting left behind, etc. So yeah, it just all boils down to implementation, and I'm just curious to see how Trump's going to go about it.
And I mean, to be clear, I think you can totally ignore if it's Israel or any other country. In that regard, I don't want fucking American troops going anywhere unless it's some sort of direct attack and a defensive action against that attack on behalf of Americans. So North Korea wants to invade South Korea? Go for it, Un. I don't care anymore. China wants to invade Taiwan. Honestly, don't really care anymore. Africa, never cared, to be honest. South Africa's pretty sweet. A lot going on there. But
Rhodesia.
Kill the Boers. Yeah.
Cecil Rhodes, from those fucking British guys doing all that fucking crazy shit.
I'm Rhodesian.
Rhodesian.
I believe they call it Zimbabwe now.
Yeah, I mean, so you have Trump Gaza, but then you have what Trump said to the president of South Africa, which was fucking awesome.
What did he say? I didn't see that.
Well, he's just like, we're not going to take this anti-white fucking crazy racism anymore. You're being racist.
It's not even just racist. They're literally mass murdering white people and putting them in
Yeah,
mass
that's what they
graves.
mean by kill the Boers.
That's what we mean by racist, Mihai.
That's racism. America's not a very racist place.
The anti-white, and when I say anti-white racism, I'm mostly just trying to get under the skin of the left. But I mean, it's fucking real, and it has been for a long time. And yeah, so anyway, we gotta wait till actions get taken, and trust me, if we end up sending our military to fucking Gaza to kill people on behalf of Israel so they can build beachfront hotels, I am gonna be pretty fucking pissed at Trump.
Yeah.
I just don't know why we would do that, but I'm not convinced it's gonna go down worst case scenario like some people think. Although
You wouldn't chuckle though when you see a big Trump tower on the Gaza Strip.
yeah, I mean, I'd chuckle a lot harder if I had a stake in it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
I'm all for
somebody that does like the decision is one of our state representatives, John Fetterman. He said it was provocative.
Ooh, let's hear it.
reason that the left is so suspicious of you is because of your unwavering support of Israel. And speaking of Israel, what do you think of Donald Trump's proposal that the U.S. occupy Gaza?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I described it as provocative, and it is provocative, but I don't think that that's really in an actual serious kind of a way.
He's got his dress whites on.
It was more to kind of shake things up and to get to start a very more honest conversation of Gaza. And now 90% of the housing has been destroyed or severely damaged. And where are you going to live? What are folks going to do? There's no utilities. There's no water. There's no kinds of structures. So where are they going to go? Where are they going to live? How are they going to do that in a hygienic kind of a way? And how are you going to rebuild it, especially when Hamas is still allowed to function too? And where's the money going to come from? And who's going to be doing all the building and do all that work? I mean, that's a gigantic kinds of undertaking, and now no one's been honest about it. So from right now, it's like that's starting to have that conversation. And that's what I've always been maintaining. All of the experts on the Middle East throughout all this were wrong. And for me, my top priority in that region is destroying Iran's nuclear facilities.
Okay. Donald Trump, though, did specifically talk about sending U.S.
Probably
troops.
good
We just
there,
pulled
right?
out of it.
I don't know if I ever really heard Fetterman talk that much, but he sounded kind of gay right there.
It sounded good for actually, for his standard, because normally he has to, pause and...
Oh, his brain's coming back finally, maybe?
Thank you, everybody. How are we doing today? That's normally how he speaks. So that was actually really good for his take.
Yeah.
Also, I want to give you credit, Jack and John. I want to give you credit, Jack. That video only has 983 views, so you must have done some digging to find that.
Yeah, just saw someone tweet it out.
You could take more credit than that.
But yeah, I feel as though Fetterman brings up some valid points. David Smith described it as ethnic cleansing, but really nobody in Gaza is really. Gaza in its current state is unlivable. So
yeah.
if you want to make sure that people stay there, then it needs some repairs. And how are the people of Gaza going to repair it up by themselves?
Yeah, to your point, and one of the things Trump said was they're going to build them beautiful modern houses to live in. It's like, well, how does somebody who's been living in a tent underneath a bunch of concrete rubble for the past 3 years supposed to now afford to buy a brand new apartment on the ocean? I don't understand how that logistically makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
So
Have they been living in rubble, or is that recent developments thanks to the IDF?
I don't think that they've ever been living in good conditions. I think they've progressively gotten worse.
Well, is that their own fault, or is that the IDF? I know the IDF has been fucking with them for a long time. At the same time, I'm not saying I have tremendous respect for the average Palestinian IQ or anything like that. Mm-hmm. I just don't know.
But don't you find truth to I remember a big story way back when this all first started was that they cut off the water. And it's like, well, maybe they shouldn't have used the water pipes to make missiles. It's like, well, okay, I can understand that side of the argument too. It's like, I don't think everything's so clear cut, where it's like everyone's on a side. I feel like I'm actually the only person in America right now that just doesn't care about Israel. I just don't have an opinion. I don't think they run my life. I don't want to give them money. Is that all?
Yeah.
You might have a wake-up call when you realize how hard it is to stop giving them money. We haven't succeeded yet.
I do hear you that. Like, there is like I'm not so benign or like oblivious to not accept, like, it's weird that we cut off all foreign aid to every country except Israel, right?
Yes. This kind of eyebrow raising.
I listen to Thomas Massey when he says that every congressman has an AIPAC person assigned to them. Like, I understand that is sketchy.
Yeah, and when we get to USAID, you'll find out like a lot of what we've been giving countries and for aid for has been just garbage, like completely unnecessary. But
what,
yeah,
you don't think they watch Sesame Street in Iran? Big Bird's huge over there, I heard.
70 million for Iranian trannies is a bad use of my taxes, you're saying, Jack? It's crazy talk.
I don't know.
Do you want to pull that up? Do you want to skip ahead?
I personally, Jack, I enjoy the funding of the sex habitats of swamp rats in South America. I think there's some good science that can come from that.
I want to see those capybaras get some butt plugs.
Yeah.
That is a need. Gut feeling. There you go. They want to feel the plug in their guts.
This is a stupid question, but a serious question at the same time. You ready?
Maybe. I'm not sure.
Are there such thing as gay animals?
Supposedly,
Gay
yes.
animal?
Supposedly, it does happen.
What's the percentage?
I don't think it's possible to actually know that studying wise, but it's very, very low. Mm-hmm. Well, what's the percentage of gay humans? It's
Well, it depends on the generation.
1%.
And that's what I'm trying to get at, is that what generation is the actual true number of people?
Definitely not whatever they say now. I know.
Yeah,
that.
if Gen Z is like fucking 40% or something stupid.
Well, self-identify. I think every Gen Z girl says they're gay or bi or whatever.
But how much of that is authentic?
Yeah, I don't know.
Just
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I don't know that that's true. And just like gay people used to pretend they were straight because that benefited you in life, well, now it fucking benefits you to say you're gay or 1/50th Native American or not sure if you're a woman or not. So I certainly wouldn't do this, and I know you guys wouldn't, but believe it or not, there's a lot of people out there that find that a viable strategy. Mm-hmm. They just have such low self-esteem, I guess. They say my life is better pretending to be a woman than just dealing with my shit.
Yeah, it's like pretending to be the gay best friend.
A lot of people seem to go through this lifelong adventure of increasingly more excessive fantasies to avoid dealing with reality.
Mm-hmm.
How else can you get to like a furry? Like, I think at that point you're just in total denial of reality.
How else can you be Jerry Sandusky's wife?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. Zabor Nick says, my buddy had a duck that would grape the chickens.
Is that gay?
I don't know. That's gay with a dash of something else.
Name that duck Attila the duck.
Attila the duck. But yeah, gay animals supposedly yes. Where I think like deer and squirrels maybe have in theory been observed being gay. Primates in captivity, I actually never saw them do any gay shit. Mm-hmm. They did like a lot of weird shit, like smear shit on the walls and piss in each other's mouths. But no, for as fucking crazy as they all were, I never saw any gay shit. But supposedly human
What would you do if you walked in and you saw two gorillas having gay butt sex?
Stay really far away.
The noises, I can only imagine.
Stacking coins. Did you address your voice loss? Yeah, like 2 weeks ago, I got a really terrible stomach sickness and vomited nonstop for a week, and it torched my vocal cords, and I'm still not quite back from it yet. I've also been trying to make videos, so I've been talking more than I should, so it just sort of persists. It'll end sooner or later. It's pretty close.
Yeah. Anything else on the Gaza situation that we should talk about, or should we move on?
I think we've covered the context and the possibilities. My position is I personally am going to wait and see what actions get taken.
I think that's all you can do. Yeah. Move on to U.S. What do you want to go? Tariffs now, or do you want to go to the USAID?
Oh, man, I've been dying to talk about tariffs, but we can go to USAID if you guys want to do that first.
Well, our show is called Tariffing.
Yeah. So I guess we ought to do that first.
So maybe we should talk about tariffs a little bit. We still got tons of time, don't we?
Yeah, it's only
Yep.
640.
Oh,
It's only 641.
Jack, since you're excited, why don't you set up the tariff situation for us?
Yeah, so I wanted to talk about this last week with Colombia, but I have been feeling so vindicated on Trump's approach with tariffs because you have so many armchair economists saying, well, this is going to fuck up our economy. It's going to raise prices. It's going to raise the prices of avocados, coffee, maple syrup, you name it. Meanwhile, he never put these tariffs in place, and this was only to get these other countries to get their tariffs off of us and to, in the case of Canada and Mexico, to actually do something about their illegal immigration that has been coming into our country and like drug trafficking. It's completely rational for us to use tariffs in this way to get them to stop because they understand that if they enter a trade war with us, they have more to lose than us because I think in Canada, like we are 95% of their exports, right?
I think it was 80% or something like that.
40. I think it's like 40% of their GDP is maybe the key number.
Yeah. Yeah. But
40% of their economic output.
Let's just take
dependent on the United States, which is
yes, but exactly. Still, like they are more reliant on us than we are of them. So if they're gonna fuck us over,
I just did a video. So the numbers are and then I'll give it back to you. But it's 40% of their GDP, and it's less than 2% of ours. So it's an order of magnitude. Like they are 1/50th of our economy, and we are 20% maybe. Then we're 1/5 of theirs. So if we stop trading with them, they collapse. If they stop trading with us, you wouldn't even fucking notice. And it's even funnier than that because the things Trudeau was attempting to put tariffs on was wine and spirits, basically, which are made everywhere on the planet, including the United States.
Except Canada. Who the fuck buys wine?
Well, there's like
Canada?
Molson Blue is basically, and like Crown Royal or something.
Yeah.
So everything we buy from them is replaceable, probably cheaper from literally everywhere. And what they get from us, they can't get anywhere else, period. And so like you're saying, Jack, I don't mean to talk so much, but yeah, tariffs are not existing in a bubble. Whether or not they're effective is very heavily predicated on who has the bigger economy.
Yeah.
Like if I was Tuvalu, I wouldn't be putting tariffs on people because there's 7 people that live there and you would get shit on. But the United States and maybe China are uniquely in the position where so many people sell stuff to us, we can tariff anybody we want.
What happens when India starts throwing tariffs around? Then
I don't think India's economy is that big, honestly, despite there being 7 billion of them.
They're the most populated country now, aren't they?
Probably, yeah. Them
What about China?
It's one of the two. But like for example, sticking with Canada's economy. Texas's economy is bigger than Canada. California's economy is bigger than Canada.
Florida.
Yeah, you get is Florida too?
Probably.
Yeah, I mean, it's like there's 40 million people, I believe, in Canada versus 300 million.
I don't even know if it's that much. I think it's like 90% of those people live in 2 cities. It's like Canada's actually a joke of a country.
This is the kind of shit we really ought to have been educated on in public school. You should know the populations and economic power of your neighbors, but we don't. But maybe you want to pull that up. Like there's nobody there.
You're like right on the money, actually. But
I may or may not have looked this up recently.
yeah, and then funny enough, where's 90% of Canada's population within 150 miles of the U.S. border?
Wow,
so easy to invade. Look at it. Just waiting.
90% live within so they are very dependent on American trade.
Yeah, the day of the rake is just a matter of time.
The day of the rake. So you get the idea, and it's like the closer to the size of our economy someone was, the more you'd be playing with fire with tariffs, maybe, but not Canada.
This is a hilarious comment. Canada has 5 things cool: Jordan Peterson, Trailer Park Boys, Montreal seasoning, which is hilarious. I don't Whistler Blackcomb skiing, and Northern Lights weed.
When you're high on weed. Yeah.
Cannabis indica, Northern Lights.
I always loved Robin Williams' joke about Canada, which Canada's like living in a loft apartment over a great party.
It's funny.
Turn down the noise.
You ever been to Disney World?
In Florida, the world? Yeah.
Yeah. You ever been to like Epcot?
Oh, I love Epcot.
You gone to Canada in Epcot?
Yes, I believe I have actually.
It's actually, they make Canada look so cool. It's like, I don't know.
Yeah, a bunch of sexy, like 20-year-old Canadian models there in
like
those
lumberjacks, all
lumberjack
doing, like,
outfits,
log competitions out
trying to
front.
make you buy a $700 bottle of syrup or some shit.
You go into this one room. I forget the name of it.
Yeah,
It's one
the
of those-
circle.
Yeah, it's like a theater.
Yeah.
It has like, it's the same thing, sort of like what's going on in Gettysburg. You ever been there? And that?
Yeah.
But it was just Martin Short took me on a tour of all of Canada, and I was like, actually, Canada's pretty cool. And then I start Googling,
And then
like, yeah.
124 seconds later, when the tour ended, you walked out.
Yeah, like, oh wait, I'm in Florida, and Florida's way better than America, yeah, or than Canada. Fuck that, yeah, no.
Yeah, but it was still so crazy, like all the propaganda that was being thrown at us through of what the consequences would be of this incoming trade war that was never going to happen because, again, these countries could not win against us.
Yeah, touch more on the Mexico side of things too while you're at it. Then.
Yeah, so in the case of Mexico, it's pretty much Trump trying to do what he did in his first term, which is actually getting Mexico to enforce their own border and not have us deal with illegal immigrants. And the current president of Mexico, I believe, I don't know her name,
Claudia
but
Sheinbaum.
yeah, she was threatening tariffs on us, and Trump is, that's funny. Take these illegals, or your economy's gonna get butt fucked. And she just conceded, and they just they conceded on the same day Canada did, which is really funny because all the propaganda just stopped immediately.
How pissed?
Well, is that just quick? This is a great example of kind of what we were just talking about, words versus actions. You saw how tough Trudeau talked and how tough Sheinbaum talked, and then Trump takes the action, and then they're just like, "Please God, no, we'll do whatever you want." So that's why it's worth giving it a few 48 hours or so. Go ahead.
Yeah. It wasn't just Trudeau. It was the entirety of the Canadian political apparatus. Like, we're talking the Conservative Party. They were all saying about – we'll pull up the Pierre video real quick, Mihai, because he's like – people like to say that he's based. He's the anti-Trudeau. But when he was on the world stage, like saying how the United States is being unreasonable with their tariffs towards Canada with what they're doing – and not addressing the drug trafficking, immigration, etc. They called us unreasonable. But look at what he says when running against Trudeau.
On the Prime Minister's radical liberalization of hard drugs. He teamed up with the BC NDP to decriminalize fentanyl, crack, and heroin. He lowered jail sentences for mass producers of deadly fentanyl. And 80% of the fentanyl made in Canada.
Hold on. Whoever that man in the background is, I want him to be one of our politicians.
With the mustache?
Yeah,
Do you see that? I'm voting for him. If I was Canadian, I'm voting for him.
80% of the fentanyl made in Canada is done so using ingredients that are not even regulated, but come right into our country where they're cooked into that poison, now threatening our trade relationship with the U.S. Will he reverse his radical liberal drug agenda to save lives and jobs?
He's not there to do the work of delivering.
There you go. Like, when he's running against Trudeau, he'll say, this is a radical immigration and drug agenda. But when it comes to the international stage, he'll say the U.S. is in the wrong. They're the bad guys in this situation.
I think you can honestly just chalk that up to a politician pandering to his voters. Like, again, words and actions. You know what I mean? Politicians, like lawyers, are very unlikable when you watch them for extended periods of time because they become massively hypocritical. So ostensibly, anyway. I don't know that that's what our president should be fought. You know what I mean? Like, every other country's got a leader, and somebody said this in the chat too, with Mexico's got a bunch of tariffs on other people. They have a Mexico first president. And Trudeau, as much as I hate him, I mean, you should stand up to somebody threatening your country with tariffs, even if you know you're about to get a big fucking nasty Trump shit on your face and you're going to have to swallow that thing, which maybe is
I absolutely understand that. Like, in the same way that we're America first, people have every right to be Canada first or Mexico first. But what annoys me is how many Americans are rooting against just this obvious, like us being common sense with our foreign policy.
Well, that's what the Canadians and anybody were in some sort of confrontation with. That's what they try to do. They try to reach the American public and use emotional arguments to get us to do their fucking work. It's like, hey, maybe we don't want Trump. I don't want to lose all my Canadian liquor.
How pissed do you think Canada was when they heard that Mexico caved? If they're in, they're in this boat together, they're both going to.
If you were Canadian and you thought that Trudeau wasn't going to cave, you fucking deserve it, and you're an idiot. And yeah, I don't. Where in the fuck someone from Canada gets arrogance from, I have no idea.
All right, then let me ask: if you were Trudeau, how pissed are you when you see that Canada then cave or Mexico cave?
I think he knew he was caving while he was giving his tough speech.
As soon as they look at the numbers, this is how do you make it make sense, right? How do you pull this off logistically without the entire country now hating me because everything quadruple in price?
I mean, everyone already hates Trudeau, to be fair.
Yeah, he's not well liked.
Do you think he's actually going to step down?
What actually, I actually didn't get a chance to look this up. So he resigned, but he's finishing out his term?
I guess so, and he's waiting on the party to elect a new leader.
Is there a finalized date for when that happens, or is he just sort of in this weird limbo?
I think he's just in this weird limbo, but I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't actually end up leaving his position. Mm-hmm. I'm not too in touch with Canadian politics because it doesn't.
No, I mostly just focus on how he's Fidel Castro. So.
Yeah, exactly. But everyone says that Pierre Poilievre would crush him in the next election, and that's why he was forced to resign. But I don't know.
Biden
thought he could
planning, I think, next month to resign. So maybe next month.
Yeah.
Nico Blicco. John forgets Canadians are also French. Yeah, they do have. Well, that's the Quebecois.
Even better, they would just immediately surrender as soon as we invade them.
The Quebecois, they are cunts, man. You ever met someone from Quebec that's like a French separatist?
I'd be down to take over Canada and let Quebec be its own country.
Well, yeah. In their defense, they actually do. They make you speak French, and they fucking, yeah. So in a lot of ways, they've maintained their identity.
Yeah, well, at the same time, and this goes to anyone in the chat who is like Canadian or Mexican, is not, again, the problem isn't that you're nationalistic about your own country. What's annoying is that you are only nationalistic when it comes to bitching about the United States, but not solving any of your underlying problems. In Mexico, what are you doing about the drug cartels?
I think that's because historically that all of their fucking problems of every country around the world does get solved by the United States.
Yeah.
Like that's how, it Mexico maybe less so, but I hate to say it's more developed than somewhere like in fucking Africa where it's straight up, you know what a cargo cult is?
Yeah. The people that worship the thinking they're the same.
Yeah, a lot in Africa and a lot in Southeast Asia and stuff. The Southeast Asian ones are from World War II, where American military would just show up out of nowhere, have all this modern technology and food and resources, and they'd give it to the locals, but then they eventually left. And the locals formed a fucking religion around it. Mm-hmm. And the religion is if we just act right, the white man will come back with all of his cargo. Like they genuinely believe that the way to get wealth is pray that American military will come back. That's a cargo cult.
And the Taliban just praying to God they don't ever come back.
The Taliban is like the opposite. Kind of an interesting place.
Afghanistan. We should take a trip to Afghanistan now. See how things are rolling.
Like Lord Miles.
We're gonna get taken hostage immediately.
Well, I was actually reading this earlier today. The guy that invented wide receiver gloves, he lived in Pakistan for 8 months trying to develop them because the factory that made like construction gloves with that same grippiness was in Pakistan. Oh. So he went there for 8 months trying to get them to develop wide receiver gloves. He's a millionaire now, but imagine having to live in Pakistan for 8 months just going on faith. Like, if I can just get this glove made the right way, I'll be a millionaire in America one day. But I just got to be in Pakistan for 8 months.
I just thought something. If all three of us were taking hostage in Afghanistan or by somewhere in the Middle East, how much do you think we're worth? What do you think the United States government would go to?
That'd be curtains for us, Jack. I don't think we'd make the news, man.
Who's president?
You don't think so? You don't think we're worth a couple war criminals?
Like fucking Brittany Griner?
Yeah, that trans or whatever.
Well, I'll tell you what, Jack. We get a caught, I'll cut your dick off. And you'll become
Jacqueline.
Jacqueline Kentner.
Become some Pakistani warlord's eunuch.
Yeah, you'd be a fucking bocce boy. Oh, that's fucked up. Nah, man. I'd probably make the news. I don't know.
Coach Red Pill made the news.
Yeah, when our head's getting chopped off.
That'd be kind of a bummer.
Yeah.
Be a hell of a way to go.
Seen some of those videos. You remember Daniel Pearl?
No.
That was like the original journalist who got beheaded.
The problem is it's never like a clean. It's not like the movies where it's like one clean swoop.
It's just like a continuous sawing motion.
The fucking guy steps back and he calls up his like 13-year-old son and he's like, "All right, here's your chance, first time," and you're like, "God damn it."
Make it clean.
Fucking like hits you like here. Fucking look like that Halloween costume knife.
Yeah.
In the top of your head. But for real. Holy shit. Jack has thought about it before.
Anything else on tariffs we should discuss?
Well, no, I mean, I think you captured the essence of it well. It's a lot of armchair economists and whatnot, and I myself as well admitted. But yeah, it's not just like tariffs good or tariffs bad. That's not the question. Roswell's Cat and Conspiracy and Gaming Bunker, great name. I'm a bad Freemason. Isn't it weird to be at undeclared war with China since 2020? Godspeed, Earth.
Yeah, we have.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of Cold Wars going on, honestly, if you want to call them that, including within our own country is probably the most epic one going on right now. Mm-hmm. Cold War just meaning no bullets being fired, no people being killed yet.
Who do you think would win if we did go to a direct hot war?
I think the more in your face and open the conflict is, the more the right will win. I think the more hidden and secretive the conflict is, the better the left seems to do. Which is
I
why
agree with that. I meant China and the United States.
With my limited knowledge, I think we're still quite a far ways ahead.
Yeah, you like to think that, at least to keep yourself.
I think, honestly, it's ineffable, that word, right? For a word for things that can't be described. But I think Americans are uniquely hard to understand for the rest of the world. And I think that's because we actually are genuinely uniquely hard to understand. Even shit like, "Hey, Jack, how's the prostitute killing going?" That just doesn't read for like 80% of cultures on the planet. They're like, what?
But the funny part is England are like way more extreme than us.
I agree. And so, yeah, by far the most advanced socially anyway, Western culture, all the fucking word games they play. Every truly smart British person is always saying at least two things at once. Always.
Yeah. No, like, and it's funny, like you walk up to a British person, you walk up to an American person, like, "Hey, how's your day going?" They're like, "Oh, I'm good. How are you?"
Yeah.
You walk up to a British person, like, "Fucking terrible." I think I'm going to kill myself. Yeah.
Yeah, the British have quite effectively mastered the way that you can say a lot of things at once. You say one thing with words, but another thing with your tone of voice, and another thing with your face, and another thing with your hands. And
I guess to be fair, they did create the language, right? So
sure, yeah.
They should be able to use it the best.
Well, I think maybe in the past few decades or my lifetime, so I think the West has transcended, America has transcended Western Europe. I think we are now smarter and more complicated than they are. And we have, look at memes and all that shit that's being driven entirely by America, not Europe or anything like that. The technology sector, Europe bitches about this all the time, how pathetic they are in technology. The American culture has gravity. It is the most massive in a physical sense in physics. Mass, the more mass an object has, the more gravity it has. The sun is way bigger than the earth. It has a fuck ton more gravity. America is the country the culture anyway, that has gravity right now. And it has.
And to that, I'll say that the UK culture could be much better if the government didn't neuter its citizens.
Well, I think
the only reason we're better is because we have free speech. We have all these unlimited freedoms at our disposal. I
actually think it's because the UK got too obsessed with saying more than one thing at once rather than with what works. So Americans are also, while being really complex and having a bizarre sense of humor and all that, we also are uniquely to the point when necessary. This is a little anecdote, but in Japan, I'm told there's a trend now So in Japan, there's this culture where you absolutely will never criticize in business your superior. You never question your boss. But as you all know, and anybody watching in the chat, in real business, your boss does dumb shit sometimes. Sometimes so fucking dumb that it destroys the company. And so Japanese companies have been making a practice of hiring at least one American in any kind of critical group, board of director type thing or anything like that. And his job is almost entirely to be the guy who tells the boss they're being a fucking idiot. And it's not like, oh, well, so Americans are crude or uncultured. It's a superpower in Japan. They cannot do it. You say, oh, just fucking tell your boss. They can't. It's not like a be braver thing or a overcome your culture. It ain't going to work. What will work is you take a white dude who doesn't know any better, quote unquote, and he's just like, hey, you're being a fuckhead. Well, what are they going to say? He's American. But he's right. And so even Japan, who is quite good at a shit ton of things, can't deny what happened in World War II and since. You know what I mean? And it's like, well, if this is working so well for the winners, maybe we'll listen. Maybe we'll listen. So I don't know. It's a paradox, right? And that's how you know you're getting close to arriving at the truth. But Americans are, I think, uniquely in modern times, maybe not so much in the past, but definitely now, we are the most direct and the most indirect culture that currently exists. And that's fucking hard to figure out. And I think that's why I believe right now we would absolutely shit on China. It's just, we're too confusing.
Until they send a bunch of like genetically modified.
Well, if I was China, that's how I would do it. I say, we're not going to fuck around with any of that. We're just going to literally send 1 billion fighting age men and tell them to kill everybody indiscriminately. So that's the way you fight a confusing enemy.
And have you seen how they like genetically alter the DNA to make like super soldiers?
There's a bunch of Yao Mings coming down the fucking Beaver Avenue here.
Yeah.
God damn. Yeah, I don't doubt it.
Yeah.
I think those are all short-term gains, though. Like, if they're genetically modifying people to be super soldiers, then they're going to find out in 2 generations that they all die from cancer at 10 years old. It just doesn't work that way. You can't shortcut nature.
You're trying to make a cap in China.
They wouldn't be the first to try to make. I think the Soviets tried to have chimpanzees fuck humans for a while. I believe that's true. Do you know that?
No.
They're trying to breed super
How'd that
soldiers. Didn't work, obviously.
Imagine the end result of that. It looked like Jack.
So anyway, I went on a bit of a rant there.
They look like me. Is that what you said?
Yeah. I don't know why I said that was mean.
I don't know. I feel good about where we stand. I'd feel a lot worse if Kamala Harris had won the election.
Yeah, definitely.
The world will be safer, that's for sure.
But again, we have to survive past Trump, and that's just 4 years. And we got to recapture this uniquely American spirit that we've had, and it's inside all of us. You just feel like you're not allowed to, and that's pretty fucking gay in the true meaning of the word gay, not homosexual, but gay.
Yeah.
Happy?
I'm done. I got a sneeze coming on from the snuff I'm trying to hold in.
Nah, you're good.
I'll be right back.
Jack, you got anything else you want to say on tariffs before I move to USAID?
Yeah, just game back to tariffs. People have this like false perception that using tariffs to fight against tariffs put on us is somehow protectionism, when it's the opposite. It's an effort to instead of preventing free trade, it's to enable free trade, because tariffs are a form of taxation, right? And if there's an actual like good competitor, then it doesn't matter how much you tariff it to protect your at-home businesses. It's just going to go to shit.
Yeah.
However,
I feel like
not everyone. Go ahead.
No, yeah, sorry. I feel like all these anti-tariff economists, not that I'm by any means an economist myself, but they all like look at it from the perspective, like assuming that we're operating already at an even ground. Like there's no tariffs from anyone's side, and then any sort of tariffs throws that all off. But I agree with you. Trump's just trying to bring things back to that level playing field where by using them as negotiating ground or whatever.
Yeah, and they're operating in a very dishonest way by assuming that threatening tariffs means that we're going to follow through with them like permanently, when that's not what we're going to be doing at all. Yeah. Also, even if we did use tariffs, that is what we ended up doing. But again, with Colombia, Mexico, Canada, it doesn't look as though we're going to be doing that because they cave to us or are going to give in to our demands. We could survive like some price increases if we just eliminate other forms of taxation and regulation, like the income tax. Like Trump ran on getting rid of that. Now, I don't know how far he's progressed in getting rid of that, but that would be a huge deal if we got rid of the income tax. Like a lot of Americans would have more money in their pockets to the point where even if there was a slight price increase to some goods, it wouldn't matter at all. They have so much more money to work with.
Yeah, could you imagine how awesome that would be?
I kind of missed the thread of the conversation.
Nah, just no income tax.
Yeah.
Oh,
another thing I noticed
there
is
was
that
a time where we chucked tea in a harbor for what percent was it? Like 1?
Not even. I don't even think it was like compared to today, it was like less than 1%. But whatever, it was like 3% at the time.
Do you guys know what accelerationism is?
I know it's what Richard Spencer likes to call himself.
So there is this is true. If you take a frog or whatever and you put it in a pot of boiling water, it will jump out. It'll go, that's fucking hot. I don't like that. If you take a frog and you put it in a pot of cold water and then turn it on high and start boiling it, it'll sit there till it dies. Supposedly this is true. And so this whole slowly increasing income tax, slowly increasing everything, slowly increasing, well, it's just happening on a time scale longer than one lifetime. And so most people never notice or bitch about it. But yeah, I mean, is that on purpose? Are they doing it? Is some shadowy group doing it to us? I don't know. But anyway, I think it's valid to point out Boston Tea Party and things like that. When this country was formed, they did not tolerate an income tax. They would have shot people for that kind of bullshit. So, yeah.
Yeah, and then there was a whiskey rebellion after that, even for similar reasons.
But yeah, well, this whole USAID thing, if that's what you're talking, I mean, literally trillions of dollars that we can stop spending. And it's probably, you would think, enough to... Fucking Politico.
Yeah.
Holy shit. I got more views than these people with no money.
Do you think Politico should refund the American taxpayer?
They should.
So according to this one...
Oh, yeah, I tweeted something to that effect. But, like, yeah, so now we're going to all get giant tax refunds, I hope. We'll see.
You think the big... So, I mean, sum up the big story, though, real quick. So, USAID...
You can just say USAID if you want.
But it's not, because it's not USAID. Those are two totally different things. USAID is like United States. It's a different department than foreign aid goes through. It's like a guise.
I just mean for the sake of speaking faster, you can say USAID if you want.
Yeah, but for the veritas in this conversation.
You believe in mot juste?
Yes, I know. I just believe in calling it what it is. It's not USAID.
All right, USAID. Go on. Did I throw you off? Sorry.
No, so they got caught funneling money to all these legendary establishment media organizations and
legacy.
That is the word I was looking for. Yes,
not legendary.
And it would just so happen that after this was uncovered and that it was some 100,000 number of subscribers or whatever got canceled, that Politico was then unable to pay their employees following that.
Literally right away.
Yeah.
Which leads
and not just Politico. Like I also note that a number of left-wing like streamers and content creators were complaining about it. Yeah.
Yeah. Again, all of these people were manufactured, and now they're all fucking panicking. And oh my God, does it feel good? Unique. Yeah. Having sat here for 10 years and grinded it out.
I have a good tweet here from the best world leader that has not done it.
All right.
Mr. Viktor Orban. So apparently USAID financed ultra-progressive Politico in Brussels and basically the entire left-wing media in Hungary under the previous U.S. administration, and they called me the disruptor of the year. I think the world owes a debt of gratitude to President Trump for uncovering and putting an end to this dark conspiracy.
It really is the world, because it hasn't just been going to, transsexual researchers at Harvard. It's been going to Africa and Russia and fucking everywhere else to just fuck with people. Let's teach what's the fucking Sentinel Island? Let's teach the Sentinel Island guys how to chop their dicks off and attach them to their foreheads and become unicorns. Like $7 million.
Mm-hmm.
Understand that no money ever actually goes to that. You know, the person providing the service gets a chunk and then kicks most of it back to Nancy Pelosi probably or something like that, who then buys stocks with insider information.
Yeah, it reminds me of it was literally last week, I think it was, Zelensky was complaining that they have only actually received half the money they were supposed to receive.
Or less than that or something.
Yeah, so where is that other?
So did anyone check Zelensky's closet?
Maybe that general that has a Rolls Royce, maybe that guy, I don't know.
A trillion is such a hard number for a human being to understand. You can't understand it, frankly. I'm not saying that I do, and I'm not being condescending. It's just, even a million is just like a number human being brains cannot comprehend. And then a billion, and then a trillion. It's been multiple trillions of dollars they've been handing themselves corruptly through this program. And we still won. Isn't that fucking crazy? Like, we funded our enemies and still beat them. That's kind of wild if you think about it. I would argue that means that the truth is on our side.
Yeah. But yeah, even if these content creators and outlets didn't accept money, they definitely their audiences were definitely manufactured. Like, a lot of them, I would bet, are bots.
Oh yeah, it goes way beyond just that they get money to pay their living expenses and everything like that. Like, yeah, their audiences are fabricated. You know what the dead internet theory is, Jack?
No, reiterate it to me.
Dead internet theory is this somewhat conspiracy theory that there are no real people on the internet anymore. That you're pretty much always interacting with a bot. Now, I know that to be untrue in a lot of ways, but I think there's definitely a lot more bots than there used to be. There's this great meme of somebody on 4chan or something like that talking about
Judge Jack saying nothing ever happens.
Nothing ever happens. There you go. They were arguing on some Reddit about, I don't know, pasta, over which flavor of pasta was better, and they devoted hours of their life arguing with this person. And finally, they clicked on their name to look at what other shit they like to talk about on Reddit, and they were like a hardcore piss drinker. Like, they were in all these I love drinking urine fuck. And they're like, I was just arguing about flavors of pasta with a person who drinks piss for 3 hours. So, I mean, there's part of that. And then there's just, there definitely are a shit ton of fake, but I get them on my videos. You know, watch my last video and look at the comments. There's some like weird, fake, spammy comments. Now, people our age get pretty good at identifying those, but you know, like the boomers, they fall for that shit all the time. Like the one who just sent all her money to Brad Pitt because he sent her AI photos. Like that kind of shit. Mia, you could probably pull that off with just your face.
I wish.
Be like, I had a de-aging procedure, and it went mostly right, but it made me redneck, and I need you to send me $5 million, and I'll come become white.
Yeah, John. John, it's funny you mentioned.
Go ahead.
Eventually.
Yeah, well, John, it's funny you mentioned the differences in perceptions from boomers and younger audiences, because Mihai, who did Elon hire to audit the USAID USAID organization?
A bunch of Gen Z kids.
Talking about the Autistic Super Squad, the Autistic Avengers?
Yeah. There's a video I linked showcasing one of them and like how he deciphered like an ancient scroll or something.
I saw that.
It's pretty sweet.
It is actually pretty fucking sweet. What was his name? Do you remember?
It
Luke
links
Ferrator.
There you go.
Yeah.
Volume's off.
So I've always been interested in history. Growing up, I learned Latin. I was never that good at it, but I was always kind of into that sort of stuff, read a lot about the Roman Empire and things. And one day I was just listening to a podcast back in March. It was with Nat Friedman. He just kind of got on the podcast, explained like there are these burnt up scrolls that were buried in the Pompeii eruption. No one knows how to read them. But some professors have created CT scans of these scrolls, and they uploaded the data on the internet as a competition to see who could find writing inside of these scrolls. And when I heard that, I was just immediately like, oh my goodness, this is such a cool project. I have to work on this. I just went home from work that day at the end of the day, and I've been working on it evenings and weekends ever since. I run most of the things from my laptop. It's just a normal MacBook, don't worry.
Little Van
But
Gogh
then I've
on
just
there.
got like
Starry Night.
5 surplus computers in here. This is what I do most of my work from. The Rake School and just the University of Nebraska as a whole has provided a great educational background where I can then, take these skills that I've learned and apply them to
University of
problem
Nebraska. It's a white autist in Nebraska.
Isn't it funny how he didn't go to Harvard?
There's just so
No,
many.
it's not. No, because a lot of people like overrate Ivy League schools. I find like they overlook a lot of people that are genuinely talented in non-Ivy League schools. So it doesn't surprise me at all.
This kind of happened to me when I was going to college. I couldn't get into any Ivy League schools, despite I definitely should have. But I got into Carnegie Mellon, which 20 years later I probably wouldn't fucking get in there anymore. But there was already this rise in like the new Ivy schools because you were locked out if you weren't legacy from an Ivy League school. And there's just a fuck ton of smart people. So they started going more to schools like Carnegie Mellon or University of Chicago or fucking, some schools did this right and realized all these smart engineering kids are not getting into Ivies. And at least speaking of Carnegie Mellon, they fucking, holy shit, were some of the people there smart. And of course, they had the #1 computer science program in the world. Right after I graduated, Bill Gates donated like $100 million to build the fucking Gates Center there.
Shit.
But yeah, like talking about trillion is a number the human brain can't understand. There's 300 million people in the United States. It's hard to understand. There are a lot of people, and not just ones with European ancestry, of people in the United States who could be doing so much more than they're doing. But if you're smart and you're coming through high school, probably by the end of high school, you've already kind of been black-pilled because you see the kind of kids who get ahead and you know what they're doing to get ahead, and it ain't being smart. Or it's being smart in a way your autistic ass doesn't really fully understand in high school. Like what? And then you start to realize it's these interpersonal. There's a category of people, the Democrat, if you will, who doesn't give two fucks about the right engineering equation. It's all about interpersonal relationships. It's who you know, not what you know. And the whole technocrat move is run by Elon Musk, Peter Thiel type people who, if they didn't have $1 billion, would never get to have sex. And they're kind of like, I like to hope that they're thinking, let's get back more towards valuing what you know, not who you know. And so now you have this team like this guy, University of Nebraska, probably will never have sex. I mean, Isaac Newton reportedly never had sex ever, died a virgin.
Allegedly.
Maybe he was just plowing smoke shows all day long. I don't know.
Talking about apples and shit.
He was so fucking smart, I don't think he could be around women. I don't think he could be around most people.
You ever seen that guy in, like, I think it's like an African village, like terrified of women, hasn't seen a woman in 40 years, like locks himself in his house all day?
No. Was he smart?
Yeah, he might have something figured out.
There's that famous monk from hundreds and maybe 1,000 years ago who lived and died without ever seeing a woman.
Yeah, I do remember that one. Yeah.
Did a lot of great work.
Fascinating.
Well, any billionaire will tell you, like, you want to be a billionaire, here's what you do. Dump all your friends and dump your girlfriend and start working. That's how.
Let's see.
And not that all of us would want to live that life, but you need people like that on a scale of 10 billion people on the planet where countries are competing with each other. You need the autists.
I have this tweet here from Jack Posobiec. Remember when Politico leaked the Dobbs decision and conservative Supreme Court justices were almost assassinated? Turns out that was government funded. Yeah, I do remember at the time everyone asking, like, how the hell did they get this story so early? How were they able to leak it?
It's almost like the real question now is what successful liberal was not government funded or manufactured. Here's a great example of that happening right now. Super Bowl is coming up. Everybody, even liberals, are in agreement that one of the teams in the Super Bowl kind of got there by cheating, which is the Chiefs, right? Why does the NFL want the Chiefs in the Super Bowl?
Taylor Swift, obviously.
Literally because of Taylor Swift. Why do they want Taylor Swift in the Super Bowl?
Because she brings in millions of more viewers.
There's literally tens of millions of people now that will watch the Super Bowl that otherwise wouldn't give a flying fuck about it.
Yeah.
It'd be kind of like if Taylor Swift had a concert and Kanye West jumped up on stage and kicked her in the face. I'd watch it. Same thing in reverse. But yeah, just manufacturing these No woman who's going to watch the Super Bowl because of Taylor Swift knows enough about football to realize how much the Chiefs have been fucking rigged. And like Zeb Boykin is saying, it's money. Yeah, the NFL is interested in money.
Yeah, no, I always, my thought process on it always seems to be like Buffalo or Cincinnati that is the ones that get screwed over. And those are the two smallest market teams in the NFL. So they make less money if those two teams.
Even without the corruption in Taylor Swift, yeah, you're right. In everything else being equal, if you run the NFL, do you want the fucking Buffalo Bills in there? Or do you want like New York or Philly or Los Angeles? It's obvious which one you want. Why do the Lakers always stay fucking popular even when they just fucking do dumb shit for decades? It's 10 trillion people living there that watch them. They're always going to be a famous team.
Yeah, it's like the Yankees. The Yankee hat is more popular than the actual Yankees.
Very true. 100% true. Yeah, Yankees are probably the best example.
Yeah. But getting back to USAID, they funded a bunch of wacky shit, and one of which was $20 million on Sesame Street show in Iraq.
There's so many goofy ones.
State Department spent $2.1 million on border security for Paraguay. USAID is spending $20 million on Alan Simsim, a new Sesame Street show in Iraq. The National Endowment for the Arts awarded the Bearded Ladies Cabaret a $10,000 grant to support a cabaret show on ice focused on climate change.
$10,000 grant. This is a tough sentence for me. A $10,000 grant to support a cabaret show on ice skates focused on climate change. Holy shit.
Yeah, there's a lot going on.
That's like that. You ever seen that fucking video of how BuzzFeed chooses their headlines? You know what I'm talking about?
Like throw a dildo at a
random.
See
if you can pull that up real quick, Mihai, on like YouTube. How BuzzFeed chooses their headlines. It's fucking true. Like, it's a genius
BuzzFeed went under, right?
Huh?
BuzzFeed went under, right?
Yeah, even before USAID came out.
Oh, yeah.
I thought, didn't Vivek buy
something like that? Is this it? You got it?
I have how Vice comes up with the article.
Oh, maybe it's Vice. Yeah, that could be it.
They're both interchangeable, really.
Hold on.
You're good. You're good. Take your time. Yeah, this is it.
This is it. Yeah, but I got a video link for that Alan Simpson show if you want to check it out. See what $20 million is being spent on.
That's such a great video, man. Holy fuck.
In 2018, production began on a new children's show at Sesame Workshop meant to address an urgent need facing children throughout the Middle East.
That was a crew of like 70
decade,
people.
12 million people from Syria have been displaced. Over half are children. And for them, the trauma of war and displacement can have lifelong effects.
Do they even have TVs to watch this?
Crisis, Sesame Workshop launched a program with the International Rescue Committee to bring early learning to millions of children.
So they were raping these children, is my guess.
Ahlan Simpson is the name of the new series. It's a new Sesame Street.
What we wanted to do is to bring our expertise to address the crisis that children living in the Syrian response region were experiencing.
We brought creatives from the region together to create inspiring characters children can relate to.
Look at these inspiring characters.
Basma is a bold, adventurous girl Muppet who loves to sing and dance. Her best friend Jad, who's new to the neighborhood, expresses himself through art. And Mezuzah is a mischievous
Why is she wearing a hijab,
who follows them everywhere.
Why do they have a goat?
Cowboy hat on that guy.
والصداقة والبراءة
That guy looks gay as hell.
والمحبة.
You should have talked about similar
Education experts develop the curriculum.
I think we get the point.
Yeah.
It is fascinating. I don't know.
Yeah, I also have a link for that one bearded lady cabaret. Not for the ice skate show celebrating climate change, but just like a promo showing what they're all about.
Right on. I think Nico Blicco's got the right idea on this, Hope, where they give you the desire to spend money to watch something they have made to brainwash your kids.
Oh, hey, I didn't quite see you there. Probably because I have no peripheral vision
Where's
in
your
this
beard?
proscenium. I'm John Jarbo of the Bearded Ladies Cabaret. We are
You don't have a beard. You're not even being authentic.
Experimental performing arts organization. Logically, we've been asked by the literary managers and dramaturgs of the Americas, the LUMDA, to make a video for you, enticing you to come to Philadelphia for their out. Now remember, safety first, or second actually, after aesthetics. And make sure you wear something really, really reflective. Oh, that's a FedEx.
This is horrifying.
I love theater. We have so much to offer, LUMDA, including amazing parks.
Can we stop this, please? Do we have to?
This video has 401 views.
$10,000 from USAID for that.
Yeah, I think the key point to hit home is to the people watching, like, this is your tax dollars that are funding.
Yes,
all
you paid for that video. Me
Yep.
too.
Yeah, and Van Jones has a lot to say about our money not going to this sort of stuff.
Not Van Jones.
I love that guy.
Chronic, that's what hell is like.
Large numbers. We can brag on Marco Rubio. I'd be happy to do it, but I'm going to tell you right now, people are going to die in very large numbers around the world who are expecting the United States to live up to our promises to get them medicine, to get them help. And when that happens, people are going to remember that. There are people right now who have HIV who are alive only because the United States is making sure of that. Donald Trump says, we don't care. You go die.
Cool.
That's the message from the United States government.
Awesome.
It is the wrong message to be sending, and
That
it
is
opens up
what
the
I
door
voted for.
China and other people say at least we're a stable government who's not going to leave you out here to die. That's what this is not an abstract conversation for people around the world. We can.
If you don't give money to bearded,
Has he always been that gay? I didn't realize he was that gay.
Was it the turtleneck that made you?
He was
feel
like
that?
lisping and shit too. I never heard him talk like that before.
You never made a video on him. Yeah, have you ever made a video on him?
I think I might have, but I don't know that I ever actually listened to what he was saying.
The only thing I really remember him is in 2016. He's like, "This is a white lash. This is a white lash.
A white lash.
All the minorities in America."
It's like I want to be like, you're kind of skipping the part where they have AIDS because of their adult choices. Like, again, there's some kid, let's even say in Africa, and he's born to two parents who had AIDS and they're irresponsible. Yeah, I fucking feel bad for that kid. If we had the resources, I'd help him. But here's the problem. I struggle to buy fucking food and shit. I don't have health insurance. It's like, yeah, that sucks. Welcome to planet Earth, you Ugandan orphan. Like, it really is that gay. It's not your fault. You're gonna die. You're going to die because your mom grabbed a handful of sand and put it in her vagina, and your dad, who you haven't seen in 700 years, was like, give me that sandy poos. And here you are. You got a little sand in your DNA and a little bit of AIDS, and that's not fair. And it's not your fault. Little Robin Williams, Good Will Hunting. It's not your fault, little Ugandan child orphan. But not my problem either. Not my problem. I don't go run around chasing every deer that gets hit by a car and trying to save its life. People might be like, all right, well, a human being's not a deer. It's just not my fucking problem anymore. I got too many problems. Die of your fucking AIDS. And that is such a unique fucking, yes, are those kids out there that got it through no fault of their own? Sure. But that's not where the money's going. There's people in Africa making videos on Twitter right now about, thank God that Trump's doing this because we never see any of that money anyway. Mm-hmm. And who was it that said, was it Ron Paul Foreign aid is taking money from poor people in a rich country and giving it to rich people in a poor country. And that is exactly what has been happening. All this money we're giving is not Nancy Pelosi's money. It's my money and your money. And we're not giving it to poor kids with AIDS. We're giving it to dictators, and they're doing whatever the fuck they want with it. Zelensky's a great example. Part of the 50% that's missing, someone better check Nancy Pelosi's fucking safe in her house, because I think I know where it is. So it's just, you don't, maybe it is aggressive, and I wouldn't recommend walking down the street in America and saying, die of your AIDS. Little insensitive. But it ain't your fault, man.
Well,
Let me Robin Williams here. It's not your fault, Will. Let them die.
Thank you,
Give me the pussy, boss.
Yes, exactly.
Sandy noises.
Exactly. Well, if your house is on fire, would your immediate thought be to run outside and make sure your neighbor's house is also caught on fire?
Absolute horseshit. No, I save my family.
Yeah. But yeah, John, you really voiced it very well, because the fact of the matter is with these foreign aid programs is that it's not making the people being helped or gain this aid become more independent or change the environment. Instead, just making them all dependent on us. And that's not the right way of going about it.
Again, I would argue is not a well-meant idea that went wrong. It is an evil idea going exactly according to plan. It was never about helping people with AIDS. It's still not. So you don't need to feel bad about it.
You're telling me the Gates Foundation isn't a good thing?
The world is full of victims, and it's not your responsibility. It's just not. Especially if you don't have your own life going the way you want. You want to conquer the world, you got to conquer yourself, then conquer your family, then conquer your neighborhood, then conquer your town, then conquer your fucking state and whatever. Everybody's doing it backwards, especially the left and the college students and shit. I'm going to go save the world. It's like, well, yesterday you cut your penis off, so I'm betting on you failing. You fundamentally misunderstand what it means to actually help other people. Full circle back to the actions versus words. It's all lip service. We're helping people with AIDS. You're actually not. Like, they are verifiably not reducing AIDS. They're not. The Department of Education, we're talking about ending that, and they say, oh my God, what a horrible thing. You're going to take education away. It's language games. Take education away from these kids. Education, people have gotten infinitely dumber since fucking public education became a thing. Even G.K. Chesterton talked about this in the early 1900s. A public education has not produced an educated public. You're not fucking there to learn shit that make you a better person. You're there to learn shit, to be brainwashed with shit that makes you a good tax-paying cow. You are a cow, and your milk is taxes.
You think they'd at least teach us how to pay taxes, though? Well,
they don't even teach you that. Yeah.
I got to use the bathroom real quick, but I think we're going to move on to bonus topics, right?
Yeah, what time we got?
Yeah, it's only 7:34. We can get some bonus topics in today.
Maybe while Jack's taking a big dirty Obama in the toilet, while he's dropping off the Obama girls, we're going to pull up the chat and see what your thoughts are.
Yeah, checking on.
Don't laugh. That was racist. Don't laugh. Dustin Harris, Dr. Ron Paul also pointed out that foreign aid was spent on American companies that work abroad because of foreign aid. Marie LaRussa, True Spree. Chronic, as soon as we realize these people aren't acting in good faith, we got to call the BS. Yeah, I think it's been realized. Let's have Jordan Peterson on the show tonight. Virtue signal, another great term that's entered the mainstream. It's all virtual. Lip service, many terms for this. Alfalfa march, conquering your penis first, may be a good idea. Yeah, well, if you want to conquer yourself, you got to conquer your impulses. But I see what you're saying. But Jeff Poor, Democrats calling for violence. Yes, don't forget that. They've been calling for us to die forever. I don't feel bad. Ballistic Ben, did you see the video where the president of Kenya chastised his parliament for weeping, crying, and moaning? Yeah, I did, actually. He says, you don't fucking deserve this. Great comment. Vackenhart 4, who the fuck thinks they care about people? All Dems care about are illegals, drag queens, and abortion. I might even go further and say they care about those things because it gets they themselves what they want in a selfish way. Juan Ramirez, high school graduates that can't read. Baltimore, that's everywhere. What is it? Something like there was not a single student in the city that could fucking read? That could read. You know, those letters that talk to you once you learn them? Can't do it. Dustin Harris, just because we don't advocate for the government to be in control of something does not mean we don't want that thing to be done. Good comment. The Red Baron, we're helping people get AIDS with AIDS. With AIDS. We're helping people with AIDS. All right. So, yeah. Parody Bear, and welcome back, by the way. Terrific Trump Trudeau tariff tap. Oh, my God. Terrific Trump Trudeau tariff trap. Trudeau is transitioning into Trump's new bitch. Well, used new and on his way out. Oh, man, David Smith, the Obama girls show one photo of Big Mike pregnant. Professional victims. Yeah. You get the idea. I think we're mostly in agreement.
I'm back, by the way.
He's there.
Trying to find a picture of pregnant Michelle Obama.
That's not AI.
Definitely not AI.
Nope. That one doesn't
count.
It's from Yahoo. That's hilarious. I guess that's the closest thing you can get.
That ain't pregnant.
Yeah.
Oh, Big Mike, have you guys been following this Candace Owens becoming Brigitte?
No. I remember the first video she put out about it.
People are saying that she's trans now, right?
Not just that. That's the initial, that Brigitte Macron, who's like 20-something years older than Emmanuel Macron, the president of France, is a tranny. Now, I haven't watched the episode 2 yet, but she made the claim that not only is she a man, she's Macron's dad.
What?
I don't know. And I remember the first video she put out a while ago where she was willing to stake her entire career and reputation on the fact
she's still doing it.
Yeah, it's just wild to me. I don't know why she wants to die on that hill Americans even care in the first place.
I find it fucking hilarious, and I hope it turns out to be true.
It is fascinatingly hilarious.
She's definitely maneuvering to be the next Oprah. Even her branding looks exactly like original Oprah with the signature fucking Candace.
Candace. She's going to start, what's Candace backwards? Is that going to be the name of her network?
Ekadunk.
I thought we were done with Oprah, honestly. It's kind of a bummer, but...
I told you I was done with her whenever she...
My point in bringing that up was to say it makes the whole Big Mike thing a lot more believable. Have we lived in a world where those who rule over us have always been married to trannies?
Yeah. Well, speaking of trans stuff, the NCAA complies with Trump's order to ban transgenders from women's sports.
Nice.
And
that's PTZ.
That's a good move. And if you look, let's see whose side are Americans on this issue, you'll find that the overwhelming amount of them oppose having trans women.
Yeah, this is a unifying topic.
Yeah. And the optics are starting to change because look at Nancy Mace. Nancy Mace is making the news because she is known for saying something
Citadel
she shouldn't
chick. Is that Nancy Mace?
Hold on.
Yeah, let's watch this one first.
Go
I
ahead.
think these numbers are really illuminating on this topic because I just think there's such a clear trend among the American public. So transgender female athletes in women's sports, only 18% of the country says that they should be, in fact, allowed to participate in women's sports. Compare this to the opposition. I mean, my goodness gracious, 79%. You rarely get 79% of the country to agree on anything, but they do, in fact, agree on the idea of opposing transgender female athletes in women's sports. But it's not just the here and now, Laura. It's not just the here and now. What we're actually seeing is a trend on this particular issue, and it's going in the direction of opposition. So take a look here. Okay, transgendered female athletes, and amongst those Americans who oppose them in women's sports. Back in 2021, it was 62%. A majority, but, not anywhere close to a ginormous majority, right? A clear majority, but not a ginormous majority. But then again, you look here in 2025, you see it at 79%. So it's not just that the majority of Americans are opposed to transgender female athletes in women's sports. It's that the opposition has become considerably larger in just the last 4 years.
How does this break down across party lines?
Yeah, so, you know, when you get 79% of Americans to agree on anything, in this case, opposition to transgender female athletes in women's sports, you got to believe that it's the majority across all parties, and that's in fact what we see. So transgender
2 out of
female
3
athletes,
Democrats.
again, opposing them in women's sports. You get 67% of Democrats, so 2/3 there. You get 64% of independents, so you get about 2/3 there. And then look at this, near uniformity among Republicans,
I was on the right side.
94% of Republicans in opposition. You rarely get 67% of Democrats and 94% of Republicans to agree on anything, but they do on this particular issue. But it's not just that Republicans are in opposition, it's the strength of that opposition. Okay, Republicans who strongly want to ban transgender female athletes from women's sports. Get this, it's 84% who strongly want to ban them. And that is actually larger than the amount of Republicans who strongly want to deport all immigrants in America who are here illegally. So that just gives you an understanding of how strong the opposition is among Republicans.
I mean, assuming those
really
numbers are
strong when
true,
it comes
but
to banning transgender female athletes from women's sports, Laura.
Yeah, but like those numbers might not be true, but I do know, like from my anecdotal perspective, that people that want trans women, that want trans women in women's sports, it's not a popular position by any means. I have never encountered somebody who says, "Yeah, it's fair for them to compete with biological women." No, it's not. Like they get demolished by them in every single outcome. And yeah, I'm just happy to see that culturally we are winning this. Some people might find that trans stuff is like a low-hanging fruit, but hey, it's still a cultural issue that we're winning.
Yeah, there's a unbelievable amount of women who genuinely believe that with the right amount of practice and weightlifting, they'd be in the fucking NBA. And it's bizarre to me. I know how to solve this problem of unrealistic expectations, and that's we need Fight Club for all American men. And we need to get these ladies into a ring with like Jake Paul and just let him commit a few homicides with some light elbows.
But he'd stream it. And
Maybe a bit of shin work. Maybe some ground and pound.
Yeah.
If the girls know jiu-jitsu, they might stand a chance if it goes like
it's the weight difference. It's like, maybe for me, it occurred in reverse when I first saw, let's say, a male gorilla. Yeah, bone. There's just nothing you could ever fucking do about it. There's just such a wide gap in size and strength. Like, I've been in fights with people twice my size who I'm a way better fighter than, but they just grab you and sit on you and you're fucking fucked. Like, I can't bench 400 pounds. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like it's the size and strength and speed. Like they just don't believe it. And I feel like maybe I need to be like Andy Kaufman and get out there and start fighting some women or something.
Yeah, I mean, even within men, like not all.
I genuinely believe you could take me with my fucking smoker's cough and fucking dying of 70 different things and not caring. You could throw me in a ring right now with the best female fighter on the planet. And if I could dodge the first strike, I would win the fucking fight.
What do you mean, the Olympic champion? Or
I don't care.
Because the Olympic champion's a man.
Well, so then not that. Not a tranny. Not a tranny. But take a woman, even my own weight. Train her up to be world. Give her a goddamn black belt and fucking every martial art you want. I ain't even going to be pulling that shit. I'm going to grab her gi by the neck, and I'm just going to fall on her, and I win.
That's funny, actually. That is funny.
Yeah.
Here's the Nancy Mace video, Jack.
Yeah, you also found this funny.
Has used a phrase that is considered a slur in the LGBTQ community and the transgender community. And let me please finish without interruption. And
Tranny. I don't really care. You want penises in women's bathrooms, and I'm not going to have it.
Okay.
No, thank you.
Let Chairman,
disgusting.
let the gentleman state his parliamentary inquiry. To me, a slur is a slur, and here in the committee, a level of decorum requires us to try consciously to avoid slurs. You just heard the gentlelady actually actively, robustly repeat it. And I would just ask the chairman that she be counseled that we ought not to be engaged. We can have debate and policy discussion without offending human beings who are our fellow citizens. And so I would ask, as a parliamentary inquiry, whether
Guy in the mask
use
is so
of that
angry.
phrase is not, in fact, a violation of the decorum
He's
rule.
wearing a
Mr.
mask.
Chairman,
Of course
I'm not
he
going to
is.
be counseled by a man over men and women's spaces or men who have mental health issues dressing as women. I'm not being counseled by some guy.
My inquiry is to
over
the
this.
chairman,
Okay.
Mr. Chairman.
Order. The inquiry is about decorum. Decorum is at the discretion of the chair.
That's
I will be
mansplaining,
honest
Mr. Chairman.
with the ranking member. I'm not up to date on my politically correct LGBTQ terminology. We'll look into that and get back with you on that. I don't know what's offensive and what's not. I don't know much about.
Tranny's now offensive.
I will say this: be careful about liking Nancy Mace too much.
Yeah. Where do you think she comes from?
She was the first female graduate of the Citadel because her dad was the commandant. She literally is the woman who invaded a male space. And then they started letting in trannies, and she said, no. And then most people who knew who she was were like, wait a minute, that's what you fucking did.
That is actually hilarious. I did not know
Yeah,
that.
she's definitely someone that's riding the cultural
100%
wave.
a nepotism baby. Got into the Citadel because of her dad. First female to graduate because of her dad. Yeah, she sucks. Funny video though.
It is funny. But yeah, other than that, we are. I guess we're going to talk about Brett Cooper, right, Mihai? The Daily
you
Wire
wanna get into
controversy.
Brett Cooper?
Yeah, sure.
So Brett Cooper, formerly of the Daily Wire, now of her own independent status, the day of or day before the launch of her new series on her own channel, she was logged out of all of her social media accounts and lost access to all of them.
Even her own personal TikTok account too. She lost access to that.
Oh, well, I guess that's the wrong one I pulled up. And then she also unfollowed everyone, as you can see, being Ben Shapiro, Matt Walsh, Michael Knowles, anyone associated with the Daily Wire. Unfollowed. Yeah. Then we have this one here. This is from her directly. I unexpectedly lost access to and was logged out of my personal TikTok page yesterday. So now we are rebuilding that to LOL, putting the link in here. And then we have Jeremy Boring explaining why he's upset with Brett Cooper.
Entire time that there's been the comment section, not from the very earliest days, but almost the entire time, 2 years, has been the producer of the show, has helped to write the show every single day, 2 episodes a day, and has been Brett's best friend. And so, some of the accusations against Reagan have been really ugly, like that she's impersonating Brett. Well, that's unfair. If Reagan seems a bit like Brett, it's because she's Brett's best friend and one of the writers and the producer of the show. She's worked as much on the show every day on what the show would look like and feel like and sound like as Brett has for these last 2 years. They've done that together. Obviously, they have a lot in common in terms of their delivery because they have helped craft the show together. Some of the rumors I saw that we sent Reagan to acting lessons to make her more like Brett, that's absolutely absurd and deeply offensive. Reagan's enormously talented. She's been an enormous part of building the comment section for the last 2 years. And I've never sent her to an acting lesson. She's never asked me to send her to an acting lesson. I've never asked her to do anything to be more like Brett. If anything, we've told her make the show as much your own as you can while maintaining the format. But she is like Brett because they are friends and collaborators, have been collaborators on the show. It's actually ironic because I did send Brett to various kinds of lessons as a performer, not acting lessons. Brett's a terrific actress and always, the entire time I've known her, she has been.
So he did?
As will be evident when you see the Pendragon cycle. But I did send her to dancing lessons and singing lessons in preparation for her role as Snow White. I sent her to dialogue coaching sessions to help her with her role in the Pendragon cycle, and that's good. That's like saying that you shouldn't send a performer to lessons is like saying that my political host shouldn't read books. They should just know everything. It should all be natural. What nonsense. You should always be making yourself better.
I
and
want to
Brett
know why he
did
has two
take
laptops.
steps to make herself better and better and better, and I'm sure will continue to.
What's he got
And
on the
perhaps
right
Reagan
laptop?
will as well. But what Reagan hasn't done is taking acting classes to be more like Brett Cooper. That is just completely absurd. And it's hurt my feelings a little bit that Brett hasn't done more to defend her friend Reagan. You know, Brett chose to leave
What
the
a
show. It was
slimy
her
piece
idea,
of shit.
her stated desire to leave the show and to leave the company. She had personally recommended Reagan to me. Before she told me she wanted to leave the show, she had personally recommended Reagan to me and told
You
me that
top
if she ever did
buttoning
leave the show,
motherfucker.
Reagan would be a great person to consider to host it, and that at any rate I should give something to Reagan because
that
she
necklace?
should be on screen
Looks like a
talent.
key.
And the audience,
that his
whenever
cut
Reagan
key?
would guest host the comment section, the audience loved her. The comments were almost universally positive. In fact, many of the things that they're now criticizing her for in the comments were the things that they liked most about her when they didn't know that Brett was leaving the show. And for that reason, I know that most of these attacks
if you'll pause
on
real quick,
Reagan.
Mihai, he's downplaying how bad Reagan, the new host of the comment section, Brett Cooper's former show is. If you want to pull up, Mihai, like the comment section right now, as it is,
Let's check it out.
you'll notice a vast difference between what of how it was when Brett Cooper was running the show and when Brett Cooper was running the show. So if you'll go down, you'll notice that the views aren't really that bad. It's definitely not Brett Cooper numbers, but compared to other Daily Wire show hosts, it's pretty much the same. But click on any random video with Reagan in it.
30,000 views out of 4 million subscribers.
Yeah, it's definitely a down. But
Those are bot
Mihai,
fu-
click
that's-
on- go
so
up,
those are
Mihai,
bots.
go up, like click on any video with Reagan and look at the response.
Like
Look at
act-
the response to it.
look at-
Any random
This
one.
is all press.
Don't even watch the video. Go down, and do you have like a no? Go to the likes and dislikes and like comments.
It's right under the
Do you
video.
have like the
View comments.
John? Can you show? Do you have the
He's getting there. Hold on.
app that lets you show dislikes? Right. Well, if you have like the app that allows you to look at dislikes, every video
There you
is ratioed with like dislikes over likes, and every single comment is just grilling her, like always asking about where's Brett, like criticizing Reagan, etc. It's a disaster.
Oh, this is great.
Just drop
And
his
this is
channel.
this is every video with Reagan. Like again, click on any random Reagan video.
I believe you. This is brutal. This is awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and if you go to Brett Cooper's channel, you'll see the exact opposite effect. Like she's wildly successful. She's taken all of the success that she gained on the comment section and taken it over to her channel, which I think is good. Like that's a good outcome.
The Daily
Yeah, it
Wire
really-
is struggling.
Yeah, it really goes to show like this is a third controversy now related to the Daily Wire and their how they treat their talent.
Nice.
Yeah, love how she got 1 million views in 6 hours, and YouTube isn't putting this on the trending list. Literally hilarious. There's Candace.
Let's go. Already amazing.
Fascinating.
But yeah, John, what do you think the internal controversy is? Do you think that the Daily Wire host really did screw her over, or do you think?
So I don't really know a lot about Brett Cooper, to tell you the truth, but yeah, I do know a lot about Ben Shapiro, and he's a complete and utter fraud. I'm surprised we haven't seen any USAID shit about the Daily Wire yet. That little 5-foot fucking piece of crap liar. He made his whole fucking bone or whatever with somebody made, in fact, I think it's Thug Life News shit, one of the most OG of the OG meme lords. That whole Thug Life Ben Shapiro. You remember the whole Thug Life thing? There's an awesome dude still on Twitter. I think it's at Thug Life New Shit. Great follow. Highly recommend. But Shapiro got this seemingly organic. It probably was organic initially because he was one of the pioneers of what Destiny does now. He's a right-wing Destiny. He just talks so fucking fast. He is knowledgeable. But more so than being knowledgeable, he carefully curates who he gets into debates with, and they're mostly retarded college students. Makes them look good. Have you ever seen Ben Shapiro debate another professional level debater? Have you ever seen that? There's a reason. There is a reason. Because he gets shit on. So yeah, I really look at Ben Shapiro like a right-wing destiny. I think he's a total fraud. I think whether or not it has anything to do with he's Jewish, I think that's irrelevant. This has just been going on forever, and then of course he got in that Tom McDonald rap song. Did you see that shit? Tom McDonald sold out. He sucks. Fight you anytime, Tom. Any fucking time you want to fight, Tom. Your stupid braids and your gay tattoos. Just met so many people that pulled that game. Me and my dumb white bread face, no tattoo. I will kick the fuck out of you, Tom McDonald. I will come to Canada, where you're from. You fucking 5'4" queer. Anyway. Yeah, no, I was a little bummed because Tom McDonald actually has a great diss track against who's that fucking guy?
I don't know. I don't know much about that.
Mac Lethal, I think it is. It's a great fucking diss track. Like, it's borderline genius level diss track. And then after that, so Tom McDonald very obviously wants to be famous. And then he's like, hey, look, it's Ben Shapiro's tiny dick. And then he just started sucking it. And I was like, Anyway, maybe Tom McDonald will redeem himself. But Ben Shapiro is the quintessential machine man that Charlie Chaplin warned us about in The Dictator. Machine minds and machine hearts. There's just nothing there behind his beady little eyes. He's just in it for money and power and control. And I had to guess in learning about people in my life, it's because he never had it. He's desperate for validation and attention and somebody saying, you know what, Ben? You are hot. You are smart. You're a lot taller than you look, Ben. That's what he wants. And I fucking can't stand it. His content sucks. It's super slick. He's got $10 million cameras and shit. I get it. Good for you. He fucking sucks. And his whole positive vibe he had going was only ever because the meme lords back in 2015 and 16 saw his, at the time, new and unique and fresh video takes and were like, that's pretty funny, which it was. Well, that's 10 years ago, and we've got to watch him for 10 years, and just like, again, time will expose the actions.
Absolutely.
Yeah, my own position on Shapiro is that he's basically the William F. Buckley of the right. He's mainly a gatekeeper, so to make sure that you stay the course.
He's not even, Ben Shapiro's name will be lost in the dust of time, and it'll be like 5 years after he's dead. No one will give a shit. People will remember Tom McDonald longer than Ben Shapiro.
Yeah. I remember when back during 2016, he was like very anti-Trump. He was like saying all sorts of nasty things, not just about Trump, but also his supporters. And then he just did a whole, he just like did a whole brand, change in brand. He could have gone with the Bulwark or these other shitty anti-Trump organizations, but instead he just kept his opinions to himself quietly. And he kept on taking the grift, like he said.
Yeah, Shapiro definitely, when Trump was kind of low, started turning against him.
Yeah, he did that even when, even during the last election cycle.
He's part of this category of online personalities who are always trying to like flirt that middle. They never want to say anything too controversial. And then they'll jump on anything that, like Shapiro jumped on the whole, well, technically you're just a bundle of cells. That whole comment with that college girl about abortion. She says, well, baby's just a bundle of cells. And he goes, technically you're just a bundle of cells. That was like, that bought him 5 years of his career just by saying that stupid line and being the first one to say it. But also, I know this for a fact. There's people that work for Ben Shapiro. Quickly, Dr. Tetanus, I'm writing a strongly worded complaint to Amin Ra about this little Jeremy Boring guy being able to claim being a god king without repercussions. It's a great comment. Fucking hell. A little ancient Egyptian mythology in the comments. But, okay, that did derail me more than I thought it would. What was I saying, Jack? Help me out.
You were saying something about Ben Shapiro, like you're saying about how that one line of his, it
was Michael Knowles, I believe, fucking ripped off one of my videos and didn't. So you look at those numbers on the comment section, and then the new Brett Cooper, and it's just hilarious. So at the time, say I had 100,000 subscribers, regularly getting over 100,000 views on video, growing like crazy. Here comes Daily Wire and Michael Knowles, and they build their own. They play my video, And they just say quickly at the beginning, oh, it's some YouTuber made this. And then they play the whole, it was like 10 fucking minutes long. And never said anything. And back then, I actually had a bit of a engaged following. Not your guys' fault. I disappeared for 2 years. I'm blaming myself. But just to be clear, yeah, you guys did me a real fucking solid because I tweeted that. I said, can you guys go fucking shit on Michael Knowles? And you shit on him so fucking hard that he DM'd me and was like, we're giving you credit. I'm so sorry we did that. You just this bullshit excuse, just like Jeremy Boring just did. Our producer gave us that video. We had nothing to do with it.
Mm-hmm.
Said, okay, so when you got the video,
never mention your name.
You didn't fucking feel the need to fucking credit anybody. Yeah. So he shut his little bitch mouth, Michael Knowles. You and Tom McDonald. I'll fight both of you at the same time. Fucking bitch ass bitch.
That's hilarious. It is 8:01. It is 8:01.
Gosh, are you trying to get me to stop fucking calling people out on your show?
No, I don't care about that. I'm just saying, if you want to wrap it up, we can wrap it up.
Yeah, I do got to get, today is one of those nights I got to get going here right around now. So if you guys want to keep going, by all means.
Yeah, we do have a couple of bonus topics we could talk about Mihai if you want.
Mihai goes, Jack's like, yeah, let's do it.
No, we're going to wrap this one up, Jack. We'll
all right,
but Jack, the 14th is not too long from now, right? Is that next week?
No, it's not.
I'm fucking pumped to have you. That looked like I was jacking off Trump. Sorry. I was totally an accident. Yeah, no, I'm pumped to have you back. I want you in the studio. I think it's going to be fucking even better show. So looking forward to it.
Yeah.
Okay.
While you're at it, say goodbye to the people, Jack.
All right. Thanks for tuning in, chat. We look forward to having you back next week.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. John Ward, any final words?
It's great to see you, all you world champions again. Just always reminding, Ciderhaus has its own channel, Ciderhaus Show, spelled like you see above my head. On YouTube, about 150 or so subscribers right now. At 500, we can give you all this custom membership stuff for free. We can do all the fun. YouTube makes you get 500 subscribers until you can do that. So we're trying to get that so that we can move this show over there. I know people do like it on this channel, but other people like the regular content. So I've been doing more of that. There's like at least 5 new career ender videos out now. There was 2 the other day, 1 today. Please go check those out. Like, share, subscribe. Trying to post directly to Twitter. You see my Twitter handle there. I'm not John Ward on Twitter because I was banned for using racial and homophobic slurs. That is my bad. But it's I love the Ciderhaus. Mihai's doing an awesome job. He's coming a long way. There's a lot of stuff you guys don't see that he has mastered quite well. He keeps getting better and better. Thank you to Dodger for the Meme War Veteran hat. If you guys check the link, I believe you'll see Tommy Shinebox. Go buy a hat. These hats are awesome. Buy another OG Meme Lord, a part of history. It's like buying a Michelangelo statue for $1 from his actual workshop. And then on the walls, of course, well, behind me was actually me, but William Maines. Oh, there we go. I pulled it out today. William Maines Art at Williams Maine Art on Twitter. Follow him. We'll figure out a way that you can get some of his incredible, very 4chan-y, unique cartoonish stuff. He has lots of them. They're awesome. And to anyone out there who makes art or music or anything like that, I am a fan. I want to support you. So send me an email at johnwardcinematics@gmail.com. And then a final thing, we've mostly got the studio up to speed. We have some new channels I want to promote. One of them is Chuck Mason on YouTube. Just put out his first video. I believe that is at Chuck Mason Show. He is a very smart guy, does a lot of interesting content. He's going to have a lot of awesome videos coming out. So holy crap, that was a lot of plugging. Tomorrow night, I am going to try to go live with a good friend of mine named Mal, who is working on some music for Inward, which is the TV show I've been working on for a couple months now. That is tentatively scheduled for 7 p.m. tomorrow night. And then after that, I am going to reboot 3CC, the live stream, maybe Sundays, we'll see. I'm going to have Zeb Boykin on as a guest. Go check out Zeb's channel. He has just built an incredible studio. Incredible, truly. Better quality than ours, probably. And we're working on getting some content with him. But anybody else, there's the Gilded in the description. There's a new Twitter group, Third Continental Congress. You can join by going to my X profile, where we have some fun private chats and things like that. But we are finally through, as you see, Studio Center, pretty much there. Now we're finally getting able to focus on content. Mihai's producing like a boss. Jack is coming back. We've got a lot of other new people doing shows out of here, but we're letting them get their feet underneath them before we promote them. Chuck Mason on YouTube is ready to be checked out. So go check him out. That's all I got. Don't let your memes be dreams.
Yes, thank you very much, everybody. Thank you for coming in. Thank you for joining us again. We'll be back next Tuesday, another Ciderhaus Tuesday, and then the Thursday after that, and then the week after that, and the week after that.
Mia, when are we going to go do some your original content?
We're going to get there. I got a documentary I'm want to plan out and make about Walk's Towing.
I'm going to very subtly tease a movie idea Mia and I have cooked up. It's called Killer Whale, and it's based on Moby Dick. And we might film some of it this weekend. I'm pumped about it.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. That's all the teasing they get, though. For now, everybody, Godspeed. Thank you very much for joining us, and I'll see you next time.
Yep. Thanks. Thank you all. Later.